Hello everyone. So I think there's a Q&A I've been meaning to do for a while now, but I keep forgetting. I haven't shown my voice, what the heck? I haven't recorded my voice in a long time, so I don't know what to think about it, but here we go anyway. So our first question for me was, what's the best lore you've come up with? So probably the best lore I've come up with would be my villain OC Shadow. He has a pretty detailed lore and also design, and although it didn't take as long as it did for Sapphire, his is oh my god, I can't freaking speak today. His is by far the best. I won't be spoiling any lore though, because I'm going to be showing you guys it later. So yeah. Our next question is Sapphire a warrior cat OC? I get this question quite often because I mostly draw her as a cat. She even got mistaken for a squirrel flight one time, which is why I've changed her design quite a bit actually. But no, she is not. The answer to that is no. She is a shapeshifter and is originally a wolf, but since I have trouble drawing anything other than cats because, well, my artistic skills don't range that far, I suppose. But I don't draw her as any other animal other than a cat, so she gets mistaken for a warrior cat very often. But she is a shifter of my own Oh my god. I cannot speak. What is it with this? Okay. Oh my god, I'm getting frustrated on myself. Where am I? Shoot, I lost my place in the script. Hold up. Okay, I found my spot. So no, she is a shifter OC, and she is my own species. She's able to control fire, and her ability is very unique in her little universe because she is the only shifter with that ability to control fire because she's just special that way. I just decided to make her a little bit more special. Question 3, how did Sapphire meet Pearl? I have no idea. Literally, I don't know. They just met one day, and I'm still trying to figure that out. But yeah, I have no clue how they met. They just did. Pretty simple. And fourth question, what's Sapphire's biggest goal? This one is a bit tricky to answer as Sapphire has many goals. I suppose the main one would just be figuring out who she is and what her purpose is. She kind of struggles with that in the book, and throughout the first half of the series, she slowly starts to lose herself before she really realizes her life does have meaning, but she loses that again later in the series, leading to big lore points, which I am not spoiling yet again. And the last question, which is why this video is going to be the length that it is how did I come up with Sapphire? Oh boy, this is going to be a while. So Sapphire was not my original OC, surprisingly. I had another OC. Her name was Luna. She was not a shifter, but she was a wolf with wings, and I don't really remember much of her storyline other than that when I reread it later in life, I cringed at my writing because it was so bad. I deleted that whole story because I just hated it in general. Sapphire kind of progressed and became who she is now over a course of a few years in my life because I really was interested in the whole writing my own character thing, like creating OCs, creating lore points, animating, drawing, but I didn't really understand quite how to come up with a character, and that's why my old characters especially were basically just copies of characters I've read about. But after I started reading more books that had magic in it, one of them being Nevermore, but I forget what the author is, but Nevermore was one of them. Then I discovered Warrior Cats. Then I discovered another book, I think it's the School for Good and Evil or something like that. I honestly can't remember. And then I also discovered the books Shadow and Bone. If you haven't read any of these books, I really recommend them. They're really good. They are in the older category, especially Shadow and Bone. I do not recommend Shadow and Bone for younger audiences. But in both of those, well, all three of those books, there is magic included. and that kind of got me interested into the magic type of creatures. I also then started to discover shapeshifters in different... I don't know how I discovered shapeshifters, actually. I think it was from Dungeons and Dragons, actually. I discovered shapeshifters when playing Dungeons and Dragons or something like that. But it got me really interested in it. And then also reading Shadow and Bone, I just kind of got into the magic sort of thing. I'm repeating myself here, but I don't really know how else to describe it other than basically different books inspired me to make Sapphire. And then I got YouTube, and I started scrolling through YouTube, seeing different animations and different characters, and that just is how she slowly started to build up in my mind. She's also inspired a lot off of myself, actually. A bunch of her personality is me. Her design, of course, no, she doesn't look anything like me, because, yeah, I don't look anything like her, but her personality, feelings, and thoughts really do replicate my own. She is very much based off of me. That's why she is my persona too, because I connect to her in many ways. But basically, it took about maybe 4 years for her to actually come to existence. Then I started practicing my drawing skills, which is how I discovered her design. Her design that I am keeping with her probably forever actually just came around this past year. And I have a reference photo of it. I will show it on the screen. Yeah, this is her little reference photo. I just made this very recently. It's not that new, it's not that old, but it's my favorite design I've made of her so far. And the rest of the characters, especially Shadow, he was inspired off of villains from the books Shadow and Bone and Nevermore. Both of those villains, I really liked their style, you know? So I kind of just took their style and put it into him and combined it a little bit, but also did incorporate some of my own designs and personality to him. But yeah, Sapphire just kind of came from an inspiration of different books, and just slowly, piece by piece, she started to come together into the little character she is today, and I love her so much. She's by far my favorite character I've ever come up with. And if you ever need tips on making characters, my recommendation is just read books. Reading books can really help your inspiration and imagination just explode out and really help you think of what you'd like your character to be. It's also good not to copy other characters. Like I said, I took inspiration from characters, but you can't just copy characters exactly, because that could lead to copyright and also just making the original creator of that OC or character really upset. So I recommend taking lots and lots of time, maybe incorporating some of your own personality into the character. But it really takes a few years. But yeah, Sapphire, I love her so much. I'm very glad I took as much time as I did to come up with her. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Well, I guess I don't really have anything else to say, and this video has already been so long. So thank you guys for giving me all these questions, especially them being mostly about Sapphire. I was actually really excited to do that. Well, anyway, thank you guys, and hope you all have a fantastic day, or night, or whatever time of day it is for you. Bye!